When the Supreme Court ruled in favor of New York Rifle and Pistol Club in spring of 2022, it opened up constitutional carry coast to coast. The Supreme Court ruling that the state of New York had no right to tell people who can and cannot carry a handgun. However, ever since then, states and counties and cities around this country have doubled down on anti-Second Amendment actions. New York State being one of them, because of a federal appeals court recently put a freeze on issuing any concealed carry permits in New York, giving some legal fights the time to kind of make their way through court. So even though the Supreme Court said that you had the right to carry in New York, the federal appeals court said, well, let's just hold on and wait for some of these other cases to play out. Well, obviously that's a violation of what the Supreme Court said we had the right to, and it's also a violation of our constitutional rights, more so. However, the Supreme Court just today said that they will not take up this issue, that the federal appeals court, who went against what the Supreme Court said and has now frozen everything, the Supreme Court is now saying, well, they're not even going to take that up. So right now the federal appeals court is holding hostage your right to carry. And the Supreme Court is not going to hear it. They're just saying, well, we'll let that all fight itself out. Now they're not reversing their decision by any means, but their decision has not gone forward for the most part. It has been frozen by the federal appeals court, and now the Supreme Court says they're just going to let that play out. Refusing to hear this more recent complaint of people having their constitutional rights violated. Now this is a very strange thing, because ultimately, again, what the Supreme Court did is they ruled in favor of New York Rifle and Pistol Club, saying that people do have the right to carry. A federal appeals court came in and froze that and said, no, 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 not so fast, which is of course below the Supreme Court. And now the Supreme Court won't even hear that case. They won't even take that up at all. They're saying they're just going to let that lower court handle it. It's very strange, and it's a very confusing time. Will it find its way through the New York to where we finally will get the day that the Supreme Court said that we deserved? Will we finally get that day? I don't know. I believe we will, but just seeing the ability of the anti-Second Amendment community to just really double down. It's almost as if we had more Second Amendment rights before this ruling, and then as soon as the Supreme Court ruled that we had more Second Amendment rights, then we had less Second Amendment rights. And now the Supreme Court isn't even doing anything to stop it, going against their own ruling. So any thoughts or insight on any of that, definitely put that below. I'm not an attorney or a judge by any means, but this feels a little wrong. A little wrong, let's put it that way. Any insight on any of that, definitely put that below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.